Okay, folks, so just laying here in bed after class. It's like the early afternoon, Friday, and it's the first day of spring break. But what I wanted to do in this video, something different than what I've been doing, as of late. Didn't really want to talk about my feelings at this point. I think I've gone over that enough, and it's just kind of gone to the ad nauseum point, and just me complaining and running over stuff again and again and again. But what I wanted to do this video was just talk about my plans for the spring break. Um, I really want to get ahead in the last, bit of the material in my classes. So I'm going to read the rest of the textbook, chapters that we're covering, and do some what they call challenge problems to get ahead, essentially, and anything else I can think of with my courses and just reading and studying, that sort of deal, just general stuff like that. I'm going to take my little planner notebook and write down the stuff in there and just kind of plan out my days and just try to stick to it as much as I possibly can. But I also realize I also need to go out and have some actual socializing fun. Playing video games helps. Definitely have my this thing over here, a Nintendo Switch with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It definitely helps. It gets me out of my head, so to speak, or, well, not really out of my head, I guess, but just out of the stress zone and the anxiety zone. I just get to play and, adventure and get a sense of accomplishment, that sort of thing, when I, defeat some boss or gain some, you know, reward or so on, some quest or so. But I really want to finally take the stuff, the cash that I've, got withdrawn for that purpose and go fencing. Get out there, socialize, have an actual life outside of school. Yes, I think that'll give me a little more perspective, and I'll get to have some fun, make some friends, that sort of deal. And I really haven't gotten around to it. Every time I've had those moments, I've had a sort of cost benefit analysis run through my head, and it's been like, okay, I could go and take an Uber, take all my stuff over there, etc., etc. Or I could stay here and I could study, and I'd tell myself study, 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 and so I would stay at home and I wouldn't go. And now I have the spring break where there's all this free time, and hopefully I can go sometime, at least a handful of times there, just to actually have done that and getting back into the sport. So, I'm gonna go running. I'm gonna turn my time towards self care for the most part, and keep applying to internships. I have basically one more week to wait to hear back from the folks I had an interview with. I mean, I don't know what my chances are exactly. I got the interview based off my resume and all that sort of stuff, and I hadn't listed my GPA at that point. I wonder if they would have even interviewed me if they'd seen my GPA. They were probably like a 3.1, and my major GPA is 2.81. My overall at my school is a 2.481, and my overall all college is a 2.36 right now. So, not that great. Definitely below average. If you look at just raw numbers, but I'm hoping that it's gonna significantly change for the better. End of this semester. Not sure how much, but definitely go up from 2.481 at my school to maybe a 2.6, 2.7. Definitely boost my major GPA up to maybe a 3.0. We'll see. Because a lot of these places they'll look at and say, okay, what's your major GPA? Because that's what really matters. How are you doing in your actual field of study, as opposed to what you get in history 101 or so. If you're an engineering major, so hoping that's going to turn around this semester. But I would obviously I would love to get this internship. It's not pure engineering. It's kind of a mix of engineering and business. And I guess they're actually a startup. At least the branch where I'm located is a startup mode. And I'd be working directly with the chief operations officer and some big time stuff. It'll be a real boost and a real foot in the door, so to speak. And well, any internship would be, but definitely since these guys selected me for an interview, I'm like, okay, that really worked out. Like, so much of it would just be like there'd be the financial side of it, there'd be the career side of it, but so much psychologically speaking, it's like I think I would feel validated in and of myself, um, that I had accomplished this stuff, and you know, looking at the term external validation, which Dark Magician mentioned, like I feel that would move the validation from, I mean, not 100%, but like it would, and that sort of spectrum from external to internal, it'd move it more towards the internal side. I would feel like, I had gone and put in the time, I'd put in the effort, I'd done all these things, and here are the results. I earned this. This is me. So this is reflective of me. Because especially, especially in comparison to like externally speaking, competitors I have in my classes or in the major. So it's kind of like I would have somehow, me. I overcame all these obstacles that they couldn't overcome, even though their stats are better than me. I did this. Me. Um, So I got about a week to wait for that because the interview was last Thursday. Today's Friday. Week from, well, it's a week and 1 day from when I had the interview, and haven't heard back from them via email or anything else like that. And then, one more week. So like it'll be like towards the end of spring break actually. That'll be like the final date for me to hear back from them. Um, So yeah, I don't know how many other folks they were interviewing. They said they were interviewing a lot of people, all these other qualified candidates, et cetera, et cetera. But it's kind of funny because it's like going for a job, applying, getting selected, going for an interview. In many ways, it does feel like trying to get a girlfriend, trying to get a girl to go on a date with you, that sort of thing. They'll be like, oh, basically, I got many qualified candidates, aka there are other guys who want the same girl, and they're all interviewing for the position, aka flirting and asking her out, taking her on dates if she's willing to go, all these kinds of things, and it's like, how many other people are competing for the position that you're going for, and oh wow, you'll hear back from her in 2 weeks to whether or not she wants you to be her boyfriend or not. I mean, I wish it was as straightforward as that, because then I could like look at it like logically, but it's not. So basically that's what I'm going for the next week or so. I really want to turn my focus towards that. As far as NoFap is concerned, I need to get through a week. I need to get through this next week, and I want to start this whole process off differently. I've said, before, I'm philosophically a Thelemite, religiously a Muslim, but I want to, like, actually sit down and consistently practice a lot of the things that I've been slacking on or only been doing on and off, like, for instance, meditation. I would like to start doing meditation daily, get my prayers in on time, that sort of thing. Um, you know, and at least start making some progress because, if you want to talk about external validation, that whole idea, it's weird how it manifests in my meditations. And I know I need to overcome that, but it's kind of like this whole deal where like I have my mantra, قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد, and I'll recite that over and over again because I'm doing Raja Yoga, in conjunction with, or I guess permutated towards mantra yoga. And so I try to use a mantra to focus my mind. And it's like the mantra to me represents sort of like what I should be focusing on, my internal validation, my, self-actualization, my goals, my, getting that degree, getting that job, getting myself into better, physical shape, doing whatever is going to make me happy, essentially. And then, of course, in the midst of it, there's sort of a storm of my emotions, my thoughts, my concerns about my one-itis, or, how do people in my lab group think of me, or, how am I doing my classes? Am I going to ace that exam, or am I going to bomb it, or is there going to be a curve, or, all that kind of stuff pops up, and it's like kind of like breaking the links between those things and my emotional states, and then thus being able to allow myself to focus on that mantra, and which represents to me my true will, my real purpose in life. Like, that's what needs to be done. I need to cut those links. I need to like snip, 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 cut them, and just drop them. And the moments that I've been able to kind of loosen that hold have been when I've had not only the most success, but ironically enough, it's like, you want to talk about women attraction, that's when I've had that happen the most. And, or, you know, efficiency, productivity in other areas of my life, in my education, that sort of sense, in terms of my, working out, when I've been able to just like not care, be aloof, be a bit self-centered, you know. Those have been the most productive times, and I feel like if, looking at this next week, I can get more into that sort of spiritual work. That'll be definitely something to start the rest of the semester off. Get when I come back from spring break, to be, on top of things. Because honestly, like it's like I intellectually know what I need to do to succeed in my classes, to get those grades, all that kind of stuff. But it's like the stuff that's been dogging me for so many bloody years, that's gotten in my way, has been the mental, emotional stuff and the social stuff and that sort of deal, and my attempts to avoid having to work on myself, because while change is ultimately can be turned into or seen as a good thing, it can be quite painful. Um, it's like if you're overweight, and obviously that brings with all sorts of problems, health problems, and the inability to attract members of the opposite sex, things of that nature. It can even affect like your job performance or ability to get hired and things of that nature. Because I guess people, if they see that you're out of shape, they don't want to respect you. And if they don't respect you, then they're not going to want you, working with them or whatever, because they think they can't depend on you. They think you're lazy or something. But, having to like go through the whole process, looking yourself in the mirror, saying, I'm overweight, I'm fat, I need to lose some weight, I need to change my routine, I need to stop eating, 20 donuts a day and, drinking all that soda and whatnot. Like, I need to change my diet and go out and exercise and go through the, the sweating and the achy muscles and that sort of thing. It's like, in the moment, that will be kind of painful emotionally speaking, and it can also be physically painful. But it's like it's necessary if you really want to be happy. You got to go through that sort of pain. Like they say, no pain, no gain. And my attempts to avoid that, combined with just my struggle with social skills and social situations and things of that nature, and sort of the mental emotional aspect, that's really been my biggest like set of obstacles. And if I could just through meditation and other spiritual work, magical work, like sever those ties that are holding me back, that's what I really got to do. But what I want to talk about, I think Alex Ehlers, he left some really great comments. I'm gonna try to remember, because I don't have them up right now, but I remember. Okay, so the whole thing with the girlfriend. I mean, I consider it a real relationship. I've been over there twice. I've spent time with her. I have actual memories of being with her. And I know in many ways long distance relationships are kind of like, a promise of a relationship. But I have memories of being with her, in Morocco. And things that I think back to on and off, especially when I'm thinking of actually like legit breaking up with her and just like not, not like half-heartedly or just having some argument or whatever. And I think in many ways I would be consumed by an overwhelming sadness if I did that, because my times with her have given me this ability to actually like still believe that there's something called love out there. And the thing that's made me so frustrated with and angry at the one-itis girl, has been that my interactions with her, my experiences with her, have really caused me to question that. I really don't know how to put it into words per se, but a lot of it has to do with the whole like feeling of being like a minority in the society, and then finding another minority, a girl from that minority group, and then being rejected by her in favor of the majority guy who's actually, got all these negative qualities to him. Whereas the girlfriend, the impression I've gotten of her is that she wouldn't do that kind of thing. But then again, I really don't know, because I have this whole sort of, it's a very cynical worldview, I guess you could say. I think that if she was in a similar situation, she would have left me, rejected me, and toyed with me like the other girl did. And, that's why, like, I get to a point where, it's this whole struggle for internal validation. I'm told by my father and by others that essentially I should value myself based on my success with women, in particular certain kinds of women. And, it's kind of like, at first, he was always trying to push me towards non-Muslim women and, blondes and things of that, girls of that nature. And I wasn't having any of it. And now it's kind of like trying to turn around to this, deal with this other girl. Oh, well, she's an engineering student. She's Arab, she's Muslim, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I feel kind of like I have to give up in order to win, you know? And I have to somehow like not care about all that kind of stuff. And it's a struggle because I feel like, there's like, it's not kind of like the irony, like the rational male, Rollo Tomasi talks about how, there's nothing more attractive, or I guess you could say sexy, than a guy who's on his mission. He's got his goals in life. His mental point of origin is himself, and he's driving towards his goals and aims. And, a girlfriend, fiance, wife is a nice compliment to that, but she's not going to be the center of his life. And so the irony is it makes him kind of like struggle to be the center of your life. And it's kind of like, to be honest with you, like when I'm doing that kind of, focusing on my mission sort of deal, it's like there's a sort of lack of authenticity I find in myself when it comes to that, because it's kind of like I've done that to kind of fake it in order to attract the woman. And then if I get her attracted to me, then it's kind of like it falls apart, And I have to have a sort of authenticity towards my mission and my drive and my aims in life, such that, I really am going for that thing. I'm not just doing this as sort of a means of segueing into a relationship or getting a certain girl or whatever, that's led to awkward moments. Like even today, like I was supposed to switch groups in my engineering class, and I kind of jokingly said to this really cute girl in my group, "Oh, I'll go to the other group if you get coffee with me." She kind of laughed at that, and it was like, I was kind of joking, but I was kind of wanting to take her out. But it's that whole sort of like beta male way of thinking that, do X to get Y. And if you don't get Y, then why do X, And, it makes me think about, I know I'm really rambling at this point, but It reminds me of the movie High Fidelity, and what's the guy's name? Ian. Ian did. He's this. He's a MGTOW guy. He's a purple pill MGTOW. So he did. He did a review of the kind of analysis of the movie, and it was at this one point where what was his name? Oh, I don't remember the main character's name, but he's played by John Cusack. Well, he had like his sort of like, I guess you could say he'd found his sort of dream girl, and they were dating, and he felt like, oh, she's out of my league, she's gonna leave me eventually, and all that kind of stuff, and he was really struggling, being insecure about that, and eventually they did break up, and she found another guy, and because of the effects of that breakup on him, he ended up dropping out of college. He flunked out, and Ian made the comment that this is what you can expect to happen when you basically pivot your life, or you make your life centered on a woman. Because once she goes, there goes your life, and it's kind of like making my peace with that sort of deal, and understanding that if I'm going to be continuing on with chemical engineering and getting that degree and getting that job and all that stuff, I need to be doing that for myself, which I could do, but the irony is that it's something that like I did talk about in a video a long time ago. I think it was back during like my last long streak, and might have been back in January or December, but it was Dark Magician actually left a comment about it, saying that if something about finding true love, you only really find it when you've got nothing going for you, and the girl still wants to be with you, still loves you, versus when you start succeeding in life, getting ahead, and all these predatory women show up, and so it's like that's kind of the one of the main reasons, other than this whole sort of philosophical, romantic notion that, oh, this girlfriend I've had for all this time, and long distance, who has been with me all this time, like, oh, she gave me this faith and love and that sort of deal. It's been the fact that she's wanted to be with me, even though all I could really give her for the most part is promises. I'll marry you someday, and before that it was I'm going to visit Morocco someday, and she said, I still want to try. I still want to try to make it work. And this has helped me remind myself of like why I should be so grateful to have her, and why I should just be happy with it in many ways and not throw it away. Because I mean, let's put it this way. Let's say I land an internship, my GPA jumps up significantly, I'm being looked up to and respected by the other students in my class, which I've had the experience of in the last few weeks, etc., etc., etc. And let's say her current boyfriend doesn't get a job or an internship. Maybe he graduates, this May, and, he heads off back to Sweden, and they have a sort of, a few months there where they're like, iffy, going back and forth, what's the plan? She gonna drop out and move to Sweden with him, or, whatever the case may be, they break up, and I'm rising up now. And she comes to me and says, oh, you're so awesome. I'm so sorry about, the things I said. Give me another chance, etc. Like, I would not be able to take her seriously. I'd be like, when I had nothing, when the other guy was being a douche to you, I mean, you were tagging along with him, you were supposedly having sex with him, all this kind of stuff. Like, I would not be able to take her seriously, respect her, or it would make me feel bad about myself, I mean, I guess in some sense it shouldn't, but it'd be kind of like, oh, so I'm that guy to you, I'm the backup guy. Whereas with the girlfriend I have right now, like, I know in so many ways, like, I am the man of her life, I'm the one she wants to be with. And in a lot of ways, I think like so much of this stuff just wouldn't affect me so much if she was actually physically here. Seeing her, hearing her voice, feeling her wrap her arms around me. It's one of the hard parts of a long distance relationship, among many others. So I had to somehow just set my feet down somewhere and hold the line and continue the fight and stop questioning things so bloody much, Because, I mean, you gotta live your life with a certain amount of certainty, or else you're lost. You're just kind of adrift in the ocean of the world, and the next wave could come along and just drown you. And there you are, you're gone. Here lies so and so, wherever he is now, you know. So anywho, got my week planned out in general. I'm going to have to concretize it, so to speak. I'm going to have to make it manifest, first by writing stuff down and then actually doing the tasks. And hopefully by the end of spring break, I'll have accomplished a significant amount of work and I can just go back to school, not feeling so stressed, not feeling so, on the verge of a crisis. So I'll see you folks around. And thanks for those folks who have stuck with me all this time. I know I've gone through this phase again of just whining and complaining about life and focusing on the negatives and not really making any progress. But appreciate you folks for sticking around. So anywho, I'll see you around. Bye.